Good morning. Glad to be here. Hope more people will come. My name is Alexi Lane. I'm founder and CEO of Everex, and I don't have my slide here. Okay, thank you. Well, Everex is the blockchain developing company, and we're using the blockchain to enable transfers of fiat currencies for traditional financial services applications, such as cross-border transfer, merchant payments, currency exchange, lending effects, pretty much everything that is used to be applicable for the financial services. Well, what we essentially do is called stablecoin, right? But there's quite a number of companies in the stablecoin space. What makes us different is that the rest of the stablecoins, the coin projects, they have pretty much specifically one application: hedging cryptocurrency trading into something stable, like the US dollar. We all know Tether. True USD is making great progress. MakerDAO is not fiat backed. It's more technological, but great solution. So what Everex is doing is we say, okay, we have this great blockchain technology, so let's see how we actually apply it for real-life non-cryptocurrency trading, although it's still included in our list of applications. So we call it eFiat. eFiat is the fiat currency backed ERC20 token. We use Ethereum. We're exporters of Ethereum. And our primary applications are for cross-border money transfers for mostly migrant workers, because we take financial inclusion seriously. We believe that blockchain can solve this problem of 2 billion people have no limited access to financial services. And the total market globally is, if we include all informal channels, it's about $1 trillion. Okay? We also using the elements of classical Hundi model, where money doesn't move. So we do it in a fully compliant regulatory way. And the same technology can be applied for cross-border business payments for SMEs as well. A second use case would be our travel money, what we call travel money. There's a lot of tourists travel to Thailand, for example, and it's Ministry of Thailand estimates $60 billion this year alone will come from tourism industry, and our technology potentially can save half of the FX fees, including the ATM fees as well. And the third use case, obviously, is building the bridge between the fiat and the crypto, where same token, same fiat can be used to hedge and trade various cryptocurrencies. Now, when we do it, guys, I'm not sure what's happening with this. How we do it is quite simple. Basically, our fiat is the same as a check. The only difference is instead of paper, it's issued on the blockchain, and cash in, cash out is done through traditional banking channels. And that's where, I'll quickly speak about the application. So our main use case that we work now with the partner bank in Myanmar and the partner bank in Thailand is to enabling cross-border transfer for the migrant workers. And this is, mind you, $500 million market per month, where 95% of it goes completely untraceable. It's cash, it's a Hundi model, nobody knows. So the government of both countries say, no, we need to know what's happening. It's not that we want to tax it, we just want to know. Because $500 million for Myanmar, it's quite a chunk of money for the GDP, and they just want to know. So what we do is we're netting those flows between Thailand and Myanmar using traditional banking channel, but where money doesn't move. So we're only moving the fiat in between. And basically our partner bank in Myanmar, instead of calling this international remittance, although we still do, but technically it's FX. So they're just buying Itaibot, what we call it, from the migrant workers, and selling the same Itaibot at the margin to the businesses who need to buy goods and services in Thailand. That's pretty much the model where we're netting those flows and we're making money on the middle spread. Another use case would be like we all know, there's a huge global trade. Like the container of goods from China to Europe takes 2 weeks to deliver. The payment takes about 10 days. Because if I'm the buyer in Europe, and I have a euro, when I make a payment, my bank will buy dollars are shipped to China, then sold to RMB, and then gets paid. With all the paperwork, it takes about 10 to 12 days. So obviously, our technology can be done, if applied, can help the speed up the process. We seriously working with the banks. We're probably one of the few blockchain companies that really putting a lot of attention how to build this project, how to build this business in totally regulated KYC compliant way. And we believe that the banks will play a serious role in this business. Because no matter what we think about bankers and banks, they still have a lot of value. And their value is later, but then it's regulations, it's the capital, it's the corporate clients, it's liquidity. It's still good, serious foundation to build a business. So that's how we plan to do it. So we estimate to have the settlement bank in one country that will be taking care of the respective currency and talk to the settlement bank in another country. However, other banks can join the network and becoming so-called agent banks. This way, hopefully, this will trickle down and get the market reach. Unfortunately, it's very hard to talk to the banks because not all of them understand what's happening. So it's more like educational process, but we believe it's actually happening. If the last year it was totally impossible to talk to the banks, now they're listening. They're listening, they want to learn about this technology because at the end, we all want to be successful in the business, we all want to make something and make money. So hopefully this will work. About scalability, I'm getting asked this question a lot, and previous speaker mentioned that it may be a problem, but not for now. By the time we get into substantial volumes, I believe the solution will be found. However, I want to address one thing. I'm constantly asked, well, how are you going to scale it? Ethereum can only process 10 and 15 transactions. Well, yeah, these 4,000 previously was 8. I've been working in the payment processing industry for 8 years. I know very well how the MasterCard and Visa back-end, front-end, all this acquiring banking system works. And the merchant, if I'm accepting the payment from Visa or MasterCard, in the US, I'll get my money in 2 days. Okay? I'm lucky if I get it the next day. In Asia, from 5 to 7 days. So what is the value of your 8,000 transactions per second by Visa if I still get money 2 days later? When, with the Ethereum settlement, our settlement is from 30 to 1 minute, from 30 seconds to 1 minute. And you know what? I'll wait this minute. But if I'm the small business, I'm running the restaurant or I'm running the shop. If I get my money 1 minute, I can pay my supplier, I can pay my salaries. I don't need to borrow the working capital. Like in the US, most of the merchants, they have to borrow this very short-term capital using their bank batch settlement from the merchant sales as collateral. And they're paying additional fee. Not mentioning the fees, because even in the US, where the cheapest processing fee, if you operate online business, you cannot get lower than 5%. You cannot. No matter how whatever quotes you are getting. That's where we believe our value proposition for this project. And like I said before, we work with Ethereum because we believe no matter what, it's still the best proven technology platform. And I'll tell you why. It's not, of course, yeah, we know Cardano, EOS, they have a much more, even stellar, great technology, fast, cheap, awesome. But Ethereum survived DAO hack, DDoS attacks, crypto keys, hundreds of ICOs, hundreds of airdrops, and it still lives. So we believe in order to launch this serious project, we were actually putting the fiat money on the blockchain.